And while I'm doing that, Joanne says, August is dog days of summer for us in Cincinnati. I presume that means not good, right? I'm going to go along with that's not good. Maybe it is good. I don't know. But I'm sensing that that's kind of like here. It's kind of like not good. So what we've got here in front of us is we looked at why or when would we test PPC, right? So I kind of looked at the why, the reason why, or the reason when. They kind of go together. And we talked about this in terms of like we got low sessions on a product in a country to test USP, right? So, you know, maybe we've got decent sessions or expectational sessions or higher sessions, but we want to sort of see, well, if we put more sessions into that, could we test the USP at that level, right? Also, maybe we had very low sessions and we didn't have a USP, so we want to try and kickstart that USP. Or just to increase the sessions. So, you know, the product was performing, it's got sales, it's got sessions, it's got a solid USP, but it doesn't currently have PPC, right? So we may want to test something there. Or on the opposite end of the spectrum, we're trying to aggressively exit a product. So we're thinking, look, I just need to get out of this as quickly as humanly possible. And one of the parts of my exit budget is to put some money into PPC to sell more units off at a certain price. I'm prepared to pay a little bit to get rid of some units. Okay. So then we turned around and we said, well, what do we need to test PPC? Well, the first thing was we needed to know which product, right? Obviously. We do need to get a list of expressions. Right, we do need to get a list of expressions that we're going to use inside our PPC campaign. And let me know inside the chat box. Have you reached out and got an all reach product service that I offered everybody? Right, I can see some people here who have. I was working on some this morning, which you should have got an automation from the system, right? Now, because it's been set up, so you should have got an automation by email. If I did complete one of your all reaches. And I know I've still got a couple left to do, which I should have that finished off. And if you haven't, that's great, Sue. Fantastic. Yes, I know you've got one, and I think you've still got one pending. Gatry says, yes, I believe that was one that I sent today. So that means my automations are working. Yes. Excellent. Joanne says, yes, I think Joanne was another one that I did this morning. So doubly the automations are working. And that means that you're typing in the right email address for yourself, which is a double win. And so you need to have those list of expressions, which, you know, some people will say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not too sure what I need to build. If you get an all reach, it's going to have that in there. Okay. Then we've got to have a bit of a plan and a structure, right? So it's like, well, what campaigns are you going to run? Right? You're going to run just just an exact campaign. Or maybe you're going to run an exact and a phrase, or maybe you're going to put in a 200, or maybe you're going to run competitor, complementary, or you may even have something very specific, right? You may even have something very specific. You need to have a budget, right? How much are we going to put into this campaign over how long a period of time, okay? And we need to have a calendar. Right, so we need to put in events in that we're going to weed this campaign at this day, we're going to analyze it, etc., or evaluate it. Right? And then we said, well, when do we evaluate it? And you guys kindly started talking about, you know, the very next day after the launch, so that nothing's running away for itself. Then, after you've kind of worked out that nothing's running away with itself, every 3 to 4 days. Then moving it into a bit of a weekly check, and also having a monthly review. Okay, so weekly check and monthly review. Okay, so 1 week of the month, you're going to do a little bit more work. You're going to do a review and do your weekly check at the same time. So that might take double the amount of time at that particular point in time. So what I want to do is I kind of want to go back up to the start, right? And I want to test something here, right? And this we were talking about is an item inside somebody's team's account. And what it has is it's got low sessions on a product. Okay, so this was I think I put it in italics to say that this is what we are going to be testing to start with. And we'll do more and more and more as we go along here, right? We also know which product that we're going to be doing, and we have a list of expressions, okay? So let me just share this tab instead. So we know what product it is, okay? It's a display case for a baseball hat. And we have a list of expressions, okay? We've got a 200 campaign. We've got an exact, even though it's quite a small list, right? As I said, slowly, right? Slowly testing, all right? And we have a couple that are showing up in phrase. Now, I know that you will say, well, they're inside the exact campaign as well. And that's okay, right? Because inside a phrase campaign, we're not necessarily bidding on those expressions. We're bidding on expressions that are related to those, okay? So we're expanding the reach a little bit inside phrase, right? Now, you'll also see in most of the all reaches, we do have a limited amount of exacts. That's normal, right? That's pretty normal, especially to start with, okay? Because you don't want something to run away with itself. So a really good way for it not to run away with itself is to not have as many expressions at the start. You can always add in as you go, right? And one of the big things in terms of exact phrases, where we're going to find exact phrases, is inside the other campaigns, okay? Well, certainly inside phrase campaigns and potentially inside a 200 campaign, right? There may be something that starts creating something and we would say, well, I'm going to put a little bit more money into that. We'll test that a little bit more, okay? So, of course, we go in and we start the campaigns, right? Now, starting a 200 campaign. So let's just go and grab this list, right? So here we go. We grab the list and you would weed this list, right? Weed this list to make sure that things are at least relevant to a point, okay? At least relevant to a point. So if something's not what the product is and nowhere close to it, take it out, okay? Because it's just a waste, okay? Coming across in the campaign builder, and what we've got is we've got our ad group name, right? And anybody inside Plus, you're going to see these ad group names starting to come in to the Plus side. So this is a Plus campaign, right? It is a 200 campaign, okay? It is, for the product, it's the hat display. Let me just go and grab this. There we go, add that in. So adding the product in and then also grabbing the SKU. We put $1 at that side, and there is a reason why that $1 is there, right? Actually, if anybody can guess why the $1 is there, stick it inside the chat box, right? And I'm not sharing that. Thank you, Ricardo, for sharing this tab. Thank you very much. So, like I said, we are doing a Plus campaign here. The first one that we're doing is the 200 campaign, okay? Only because it's first on the list, right? It's only the first on the list. Then we have the product's name, okay? Right? So the super generic or product name that you would use is right there. Then at the end of this, we have $1, and then we have the SKU, right, which is the master SKU that you're using, all right? If you've got something weird and wacky that's inside your SKU diffs or your PIR, it's not that. It's the master, right? It's what it's called globally, right? And like I said, there's a reason why we put $1 in there, right? If anybody wants to hazard a guess as to why we have the $1 in there, be my guest. Be my guest, right? So we put in this, and what we then come down to is we go and we add the product in over here, right? Always only one product, right? There is a set of 2 of this item, okay? But we don't add that in. If we wanted to advertise this with exactly the same keywords and expressions, we would create a new campaign for it. The reason is very simple. If you put two products in, it's very difficult to determine which one might be performing, right, and which one it can't or isn't performing. And yes, Sue, that's exactly right. It has to do with being able to locate the SKU easily in Excel, right, or inside Google Sheets, because you can look up and say, tell me what the SKU is after the dollar sign, right? It's an unusual character to have inside there. So whenever it's unusual, it's easily looked up. All right, that's exactly it. So somebody was listening at some stage, right? So a big gold star for Sue there. Now, this is a 200 campaign. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the keywords, expressions that I have for the 200 campaign. And this is then obviously a manual campaign. Right? It is keyword targeting. Right? Always remember to turn those off, right? Because a 200 campaign is an exact campaign, okay? And I want to enter a list of phrases. So I put all those in, okay? And add those keywords in. And I'm going to get a box that says 32, right, of my 212 keywords don't have a suggested bid. Fine. Okay, 20, right? Because every expression inside of 200 is 20 cents. Okay, so add our keywords. All right, and I should have. Sorry, I should have done something first of all. My apologies. Just go back, put this list in, and instead of it saying suggested bid, custom bid. Right, custom bid. And the custom bid here is 20 cents. Okay. So my apologies for that. Right. Then I add the keywords. Boom. Right. Everything here is 20 cents. Okay. Don't panic if something here is higher than this. That is more than expected. Okay. That is very much to be expected. Right. Inside of 200. Okay. And then let's come down. Right. At the minute, we don't have anything negative, right? And inside an exact campaign, you wouldn't have anything negative, right? You would just delete it from the list and not bid on it, okay? So you can just ignore that. Inside a 200 campaign, it is dynamic bids down only, right? Down only, right? And we'll come back to this, right? But this is an area that we should be looking at taking advantage of things that are working, right? Or things that we want to boost, right? Because if you remember, whenever I spoke about the top of search, right? The top of search, the number of times as a percentage that people click that versus the other, it was like an 80-20, right? It was very, very high, right? So we could potentially look to increase this if this campaign starts to work, okay? But not at the start. Okay, campaign name, right? Well, what this is all to do with grouping the different stuff together. So grouping products together. So what I just want to do is, this is a campaign for this product here, right? It doesn't matter that it's a 200 campaign. I just want to make sure that all of my campaigns for this product, okay, whether they are exact phrases, 200s, they all come under this area right here, okay? They all come under this area. So I'm just going to take that down so that I use it in the next one. Okay. Then we have, some people use portfolios as well for this. No problem. If you like using portfolios, that's absolutely fine. I don't. I just use the campaign name. We've got our start date today, end date never. Okay. And then my daily budget, I'm just going to use Amazon's suggestion for now, $12. Okay. And then I'm going to launch my campaign. Boom. It is done. Okay. It is done. Check over all of those different things. Everything looks good.
And then I can go and I can create another campaign. Okay, I can create another campaign. Because what I want to do is I want to get my exact phrases in, and I want to get, my exact expressions in, and I want to get my phrase in. Okay. So when we are looking at this, this is now an exact starter. If I could spell exact. This is an exact starter for the hat display. So it's the same product, right? Same product. So I want to take the exact same SKU. Okay, and that's the product there. So I'm going to add this in. Again, I am on manual targeting, okay, and I'm going to go in. It's an exact campaign. I am going to go with a suggested bid inside an exact campaign. So I want to go and grab my keywords, my expressions, sorry, that I have, and I've only got 3 of them. Right? So I'm going to add these in, and I'm just going to make sure that they check out, right? I do have budget here, okay, for all of these. Right? So 110, like this is a $47.99 item. So, my profitability on this, around about $15, USP, just slightly shy of 10%, so I've got easily $1.50 to $2 here. Okay, so all of this is good. All right. Don't have any negatives. At the start, campaigns up and down. Okay, campaigns up and down for now. I'm not going to test any of my placements just yet because I want to test and see, does this kind of work normally before I start putting any additional funds into it. And I think I've actually got this read the wrong way. This is my, yes, I have indeed. I'm an idiot. Well, apologies. See, this weather's affecting me today. The campaign name is Exact Start. So I will be able to show you editing this this other one. And then I have my daily budget again. And now I can launch my campaign. All right. So, like I said, I did make a little error, right, in that this is actually the ad group name, right? So I need to go into my campaign manager. On the first campaign that I set up, I named it incorrectly. The great thing is now inside Amazon, you can change that, right? You can change this, right? So this was the first one that I did. So let me go into this. And then let me go and edit. So campaign settings. So my campaign name here, right, is incorrect. That's actually the ad group name. So let me copy that. The campaign name is a 200 campaign. Looks good. Save that. Okay. And then I've got to go into the ad group. So let's go into the ad groups. And here it is here. And I need to change this ad group. So my ad group settings. There we go. Save that. Okay, good. Okay, so let's then get back into Campaign Manager because now I want to do a phrase campaign. Okay. And again, like I've said many times, slowly, right? If you feel like you're going to get a lot of data in here, you don't need to do them all together, right? If you feel like it's going to be too much data. I'm just showing each one of these being done. We know that we can handle our data whenever it comes in. And of course, there's not too many, right? There is not too many phrases and different things like this. And I have the campaign name in the clipboard, so I'm going to put that in down here. And this is a phrase starter. Okay. So phrase starter, all good. I'm going to search for my product. Add that in. Then S is manual targeting. Okay, keyword targeting. Take off the broad, take off the exact, go and enter the list. Grab my list, of which I only have 2 in here. Come back in, pop those in, add those words, check the bids, they're good. Okay, then we come on down. Don't have any negatives just yet. Okay, don't have any negatives just yet. Dynamic bids up and down to start with. Campaign name is in, portfolio in, suggested budget done, and I'm going to launch the campaign. Okay, guys, so we did a 200, we did an exact, we did a phrase, right? Everybody with me so far, right? Or do we have any questions or queries, right? Let me know inside the chat box if you do, right? If you've got any questions or queries. And I will just wait a little second for those questions or queries, or you telling me that it's all good. Let me see. I've lost the tab. Cool. Sue says, got it. Sal says, yes. Ricardo gives me the thumbs up. Sounds like everybody is good to date, right? But if you do have a question, just ask, okay? So what we're going to do is now we're going to create another campaign, okay? Because what we want to do is we are going to do another sponsored products idea, but we're going to go after, right, competitors, all right? We're going to go after competitors. So having made a big list, right, I only have the one, but just to show you, right, how a product targeting works, right? It's still, yeah, campaign name. So this is competitors, okay? Competitors. My ad group is the same because it's all this product. And I want to go find my product. I'm going to add that in. Now, it's still manual targeting, right? But instead of it being keyword, right, it is product, okay? So we're going after competitors, all right? Now, we want to go out into individual products, okay? Because you can target a category, right? Now, targeting a category, it's really towards the end, right? Because targeting a category is very loose in the vast majority of cases, right? It's a real blanket affair, right? Really. Not saying that you wouldn't do it. You may do it in time, but it's really one of the last things that you'd want to do. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to first of all enter a list, right, of the products that we know that we've done research on, right? So we found a product or products that we know, right? So we can go in, we can enter the ASIN in here or ASINs, okay? And then we click target. It will come up over here, all right? And we can see that we get the bid price, which we're happy with, right? Now, when you've done this, the other thing is suggested, right? Now, if you've got a product, right, that looks exactly the same as yours, right, or is a similar item, right, well, then we want to bid on this, right? We do want to bid on it, right? And we can add these in over here as long as our suggested bid is within reason, right? But don't click add all, because you will see some. I would also, if I have a duplicate, I would go in against myself there. No problems whatsoever. Because if you add all, there may be some products in here that are not exactly the same, right? They're not exactly the same. Because Amazon is trying to find stuff using its algorithm, right? So
There may be differences. All right. So you want to make sure that it is the right product that you're going after. Right? So I always say, take a bit of care as we go down here, and I will add in some more of these later on. But let me see if I can find something that's not kind of the same. Okay, here, right. So this is not the same product right here. This is for an American football helmet, right? So it's larger, right? And not the same item, not the same customer. Okay. This looks like it is here, right? These are for. Oh no, sorry. Um, the baseball helmet, right? Something. No, maybe that is. I thought it was maybe um, boxing gloves, right? So for boxing gloves, if you got like your boxing gloves signed by Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson or somebody like this, and you can put it into a display, that's not the same. These are not the same. These are not the same. It's like for a ring, like a championship, like a Super Bowl ring, things like that. There's an American football. So that's why I say don't click at all, right? Because some of these are not the same. All right. So we have our list. Just check all of our bids. Looking good. Excellent. Right. Now we also don't need to do negative product targeting, right? Because it's an exact campaign. It's just an exact product campaign. Okay. The exact product. We should have actually said that up inside here. Inside our campaign name. This is competitors exact competitors. Okay. We're not going to change any of this. We will go up and down as we start. Nothing negative. Then we have our start and our end date and our daily budget. There we go. Launch campaign. Right. Now, I also kind of know that people will be thinking, well, there's $20 there, $10 there, $12 there, $20 there. Seems like a lot on a daily budget. Right? But as we know, from doing our tests, number one, it's probably unlikely you're going to run all of these at exactly the same time. Okay. The other biggest factor is it's highly unlikely that you're going to spend your entire daily budget, right, the whole way right through, right? As in, it's unlikely that it gets to spend that. All right. So Gary says, can we set up the campaigns using plus in the name if we are in plus? Well, it's your account. You can do whatever you want with it, right? Whenever we're setting up campaigns inside your system, you will see it as plus, right? So it distinguishes between the campaigns that you might have or that you're doing some work on and the stuff that we're doing, right? So over the next number of weeks, you're going to see us reaching out to you, right, about PPC, right, and moving, because we've been in the background, right, inside of Plus, building out a lot of PPC campaigns on your behalf, right? Whether that is, you might have 4 or 5 products in your portfolio. We're building out PPC campaigns for them all, even though we may not be launching all products with all campaigns. It's just so we've got them ready to go, right? If that makes sense. And do let me know if that makes sense inside chat box. If not, I can always re-explain that. So also, guys, just let me know as well. It's like, does this make sense what we're doing here, right? And all of these different campaigns that you can possibly have, right? And we've launched them today, right? And we can report back on them, right, as these campaigns go along, right? We can see what we're spending. We can see what ACOSs are. We can see what's working. We can see what's not working. We're going to kill what's not working, right? And we're going to keep what is working, okay? That is the whole concept here, okay? So hopefully that makes a lot of sense to everybody. I can see it makes sense to one person. Maybe I've got a bit of a lag. But do let me know inside the chat box, or whether we have any kind of questions or anything like that. Now, I'll give you guys a little bit of a minute here, and then we shall just change tact a little bit, and I'll just give it a little bit of a pause. All right, great. Super dupe. So one of the other things I wanted to chat about today, guys, was this concept of, you know, the speed of revenue, right? The speed of revenue. And while I did want to make sure that, you know, we covered the end of PPC from last week, we'll probably want to be rolling this idea into the end of August workshop, which is really all around the action of urgency and different things like that, just to make sure that we're kind of catching up on a lot of stuff. But whenever we're talking about the speed of revenue, it's this idea of being able to make sure that right at the top of that profit and loss report, right at the top of that we are bringing in that revenue at the right time, okay? And we're obviously not having any opportunity costs, right? But also we're not waiting, right? We're not causing a delay in terms of the revenues, right? Because as you know yourself, right, expenses come out regardless, okay? Expenses come out regardless. So therefore, it's very important that we do not have delays in terms of our revenue. And I want us to be able, inside of Q3 here, to start to make a bit of a shift towards starting to focus more on our revenue, right? Because we have spent a number of months and actually a couple of quarters inside and focusing down on expenses, right? So now what we want to kind of make the shift towards is the revenue line, right? A lot of people have taken really good action in terms of their expenses, and I'm sure you would concur with me that you have likely done a lot of weeding in terms of your expenses. You got rid of some things that are not necessary. You've likely reduced out some of your storage. You've likely also, what we're talking about today in terms of PPC, your PPC is now becoming more and more effective, right? It's not like you're throwing money down the drain. Let me know if you agree, right? Let me know if you agree that you have done a lot of work over the last couple of months in terms of your expenses, and you have either brought them down in terms of a value amount, or at the very least, you've brought them down in terms of a percentage amount, right? Let me know with a yes, or let me know with a no, right? Because if that's a no, right, what we've got to do is we need to jump on together and sort that out, right? Because we should have done it by now, right? So maybe it's been delayed. You've delayed something. You haven't taken proper action on something. You've kind of been, oh, well, you know, I'll do this whenever this happens, right? We don't want you to be left behind, right? And we don't want you focusing on expenses whenever everybody else is focusing on revenue, right? So if we need to take a little bit of final action in terms of expenses, then let's get that done now, right? And out of the road, right? So we never have to come back to it, right? It's not like if you were overspending on storage that you're going to immediately run back in to spend more, right? Those once you've sorted it out, those days are gone, right? Also, it's kind of the same with PPC, right? It's like if you were consistently kind of having bad campaigns, throwing a lot of money away, it's unlikely that you're going to go back into that because you're more assured now, right? You're more assured and you're doing more weeding, you're doing more analysis, or in the likes of Plus, you're having it almost done for you. So while you might test a little bit, it's not like you're going to jump back into the same old routine of set it and forget it and then complain about it, right? That bit's done. Also, if you went into your expenses and you got rid of some software you weren't using or et cetera, right? You're not going to be running back to start signing back up again. So those days are done, right? And our expenses now are at a certain level, right? And a lot of those expenses are at a value level, right? It's not like if you're paying for your zero account that it's going to go up fivefold if your revenue goes up fivefold. It's going to pretty much stay the same, right? Now, I understand your storage in Amazon might go up a little bit if your revenue goes up a little bit because you're going to have to store more products. That's cool, right? I understand that your PPC is going to go up a little bit if you've got new products or you're trying to do some tests or you're trying to get an existing product to do something. Might go up a little bit, right? But then you're going to be weeding it. But it's those are percentages, right? So that we want to stay at the percentage. It's the whole way around coming around to, right, now we need to focus on revenue, right? Because the last time I looked, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if we have this expense solid and then we add in more revenue, yes, our COGS will go up because if we're selling more, then therefore there's more landed cost, there's more FBA, there's more referral, but it's going to be a percentage, right? And we've got it dialed in, right? We've got it dialed in. Like we talked about at the events, like we've been talking about all along. You've now got your pricing dialed in, right? If we have our expenses sorted, done, and we have our pricing dialed in and we know what's going on, what we need to now do is turn up the noise, right? We need to amplify things because now if we can sell more and we have that idea where we were looking at the last workshop where we're on the pocket dials, right? We said that if we turn something up, we might affect something else, but we're going to have Hawkeye on it, right? So we're tweaking the knobs, right? We're tweaking the dials in order to get speed into revenue, right? So we're taking the maximum that we can, right, in order to create larger gross profit every single month, right? And you know the ways that we're going to be focusing on that. You know the dials that we're going to be doing, right? So you can very much expect that we are going to be in contact with you about a number of different things. And really, it's three, right? Really, it's three. Name me right inside the comments, guys, while I have a little drink of my favorite Scottish drink, which is Iron Brew. Anybody know Iron Brew? Let me know inside the chat box the three things that we are going to be relentlessly talking about, right? From now, probably until the cows come home, but definitely until the end of the year, right? Number one, number two, number three, that will grow your business, right? That will develop your business, right? Which will gain more gross profit inside your business. Let me know inside the chat box. The main three. I will give you a clue. They all start with more, right? They all start with more. And Ricardo's pretty much nailed it, right? Countries or markets, right? If you are not selling in a market, right, you will be marked down, right? We talked about this and we talked about sessions, right? Well, if you're not selling in Canada, that is not going to be acceptable anymore. What is going to happen is that will score a 0 on sessions because that's what it is, right? There's not going to be the permission anymore to say, oh, well, I don't sell in Canada, so that doesn't count. It's going to be marked as a zero, right? And we know what zero is, right? Zero sessions is terrible, right? We covered this. We showed you the graph, right? It was in that dark red color, right? Dark red color. So you're not selling that product in Canada. It'll be marked as zero sessions and it will be terrible, okay? So absolutely. Countries, markets, platforms, whatever you want to call it, okay? The other one that Ricardo said was profits, okay? Now I'm going to change that a little bit because I'm going to allow you to say units, right? We said units. People were pressing us for units. More units, right? We want to sell more units of existing products, okay? Of course, we do that through either increasing our sessions or increasing our USP or both, right? Mostly inside the sessions. USP, if we can get it to solid, you can't keep increasing it, right? You know, we know 10 is a number that we look for in terms of percent. So getting our USP to a level and then increasing our sessions using our pocket dials. Maybe we have some PPC. Maybe we're doing different types of PPC. Maybe we're targeting other products. Maybe we're tweaking something to do with our price. Maybe we're increasing the price. Maybe we're decreasing our price. Maybe we're just tweaking it a little bit, right? Or maybe we're using our back-end keywords, right? We're pocket dialing, right, in order to take advantage of units. So now we've got more countries, and now we've got more units. And of course, the last one that Ricardo said, and a lot of other people have said it as well. So thank you very much, Sue, for commenting. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Sal. Great stuff. Is products, right? Whenever we add a new product in, and we're able to add it into multiple markets, right? And we're able to add in more units, right? Now, I've got a very simple concept, right? Which I think I'll be writing a bit of a post about it next week. And it's this idea of the power of 10, right? And I always have liked this power of 10, right? What we have is, right, we have the ability to sell in approximately 10 countries. 10 countries. Of course, not all countries are created equal. Italy is not equal to America. We get that, right? We get that. But if we had 10, right, countries, and we also know that the vast majority of products, we're starting to move up the retail price, right? In terms of, we're not interested in products that are $12 or $15. You might have some in your catalog and you can continue to sell them. But anything being added new, like I talked about this week, is we've got to try and raise this average price point, okay? And what we're really looking for is an average price point inside our business of 40 and above, okay? So that's what your aim is, right? Maybe inside the next 12 months or 18 months, you want to get your average price point to 40, okay? So you may have some that are lower than that. You may have some that are higher, right? And I know some people right here on this call and others who are maybe catching us on the replay, they've been getting involved in products that are $50, $55, $60, $65, $100, right? I know who you are, right? Because I'm looking at different things and you're having great success at the minute, right? And it doesn't need to be a lot of units. You're having great success and you're really starting to add revenue to your business. You're starting to speed up the revenue inside your business by simply increasing the average cart value, right? The average price point of your goods. You know who you are, right? Right? I've already seen it. And you're adding in products, right? And you're having the success that goes along with it. And if we have an average price point of about $40, we can have the expectation of a GP of about $10, okay? So profit of about $10 on a $40 item, or an average product catalog at an average price point of $40, about the wavings of $10, okay? So we get 10 countries, right? We got $10 as our average gross profit. Well, what if we had 10 of that style of product inside our business, right? Start to see where I'm going here, the power of 10, right? 10 countries, $10 or pounds or euros, 10 products. There's a fourth 10. What do you think it is? What do you think the last 10 inside this is, right? What do you think it is, guys? Let me know inside the chat box. What do you think the last 10 is all about? Like, we talked about countries. We talked about products. Talked about profit. Right? And let me then just go across and I'll toggle a little screen on here. There we go. Oops. I hit that twice. What an idiot. There we go. Toggle that back on. Good stuff. Right, so let me just. So this is the power of 10, right? And what we talked about, right? We talked about 10 countries. Okay. Like I said, some aren't created the same. Right? 10 countries, $10, okay, profit, 10 products in the portfolio, okay. And these two here are, these are pretty rigid, right? Yeah, Amazon's going to do more countries over time, but it does take a little bit of time for countries to come around. So, you're not going to change. You're not going to be able to increase that very much. You can get to 10, no problems about that. $10 profit, I wouldn't say it's rigid, right? But it's rigid-ish, right? As in, you get to your $40 average price point inside your portfolio. It's going to take you a little bit of a while to increase that, right? But products is not rigid, right? This can increase because you can add in another product. Right? Now, interestingly, this last one can increase as well. So Ricardo says 10 countries, 10 products, 10 variations. No, not 10 variations. Gateway says 10 members. No, it's not 10 of you guys. It's not that. Any other guesses? Any other guesses what this number 10 could be in terms of the power of 10? And this wonderful concept of the power of 10 that really starts to get you thinking, right? It's like that 10 countries is totally achievable. Right? If you went after that, you could probably get that done in a couple of months. You know that you've got location-free stock, right? So it's not like in the past where that would be pretty tricky. $10 profit on a product. Well, all you've got to do is get that average price point up, so that you can do that. 10 products inside your portfolio. Yeah, it might take a little bit of time. Right? You might be getting rid of some items. You might be bringing some more items in, but you can get there. Right? Gateway says units. Right? Gateway says units. I'm going to give you that. Right? I'm going to give you that. 10 sales per, right? Per what? Right? 10 sales of each one of your products in each one of your countries, making $10 profit. Right? So $10 per what? Sorry, 10 sales per what? Right? So it's definitely 10 sales per product in each country, but in terms of a time scenario, 10 sales per what? Sal says day. Gateway says day. It's achievable per day, but that's an ask, right? That is an ask. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up anybody's ass and say that is what you're going for, 10 sales per day of each product in every single country. You know, achieving 10 sales a day in, say, Italy, you know, if I'm sitting here telling you that, you're going to say something about that. You're going to say, Robert, that's unrealistic, right? And I'd agree with you, right? If I was to say that, that has no integrity, right? 10 sales per day inside Italy. That's difficult, okay? 10 sales per day in Australia and every single product, that's difficult, right? So what if I change this to per month, okay? Per month. 10 sales a day of a product inside Italy per month. 10 sales a day inside Germany per month. 10 sales a day inside the United Kingdom per month. Now, I can stand behind that. Couldn't you? Let me know. Let me know if you agree, right? Because I feel that that's perfectly fine. I feel that that has integrity. I feel that that is achievable. I feel that that is not unrealistic expectations. But you let me know. You let me know if you think that that is. I'm not saying today. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm saying in the near future, right? And of course, this is conceptual. Right? You are going to likely sell more products in America than you are in Italy, right? We know that. So this is conceptual. But let me know. You feel that per month is okay, right? Cardo's got a pretty cool gift there. Some guy like pumping it up. Oh, yeah, because I'm pumping up the sales. So he says, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, I think it does, right? Not totally unrealistic, not me blowing smoke, not me trying to make something that it's not, right? Now, if we do this, it's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And you can put $1 in front of that because there's $1 here. Right? Well, 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000, times 10 is 10,000. And that's profit, right? Because it was profit over here. Okay. Now, here's the cool bit, right? Here is the cool bit. In that, when you change some things here, right, then the formula changes. Now, like we said, this is pretty rigid, right? And this here should be a medium-term goal, right? It's not a short-term goal. It's not going to happen next week, this quarter, next quarter. But it's something that you can work towards in terms of a medium-term goal, right? Then whenever we get into slightly longer goals, right, these are the two areas that we can change. Okay? These are the two areas that we know that we can change longer term. Right? So our longer term, right, we should be looking at changing especially the products, right? Especially the products. Okay? So if we look at changing the products as our longer term, right, whatever we increase the products to, we can exchange this number into, right here, right? So if we take this and we make this here, right? But we change this out and we just name that X. So we're saying 10 times 10 times X times 10 will equal X profit per month. Makes sense, right? So if you have 15 products, this would be 10 by 10 by 15 by 10, would be 15,000 per profit per month, right? So we're starting to align the number of products, right? When we get our countries correct and we're sitting there and we get our portfolios round into the correct average prices, let's get those average prices up. So when we achieve this, this is what we are looking for on a medium term, right? We've got to achieve these two things, right? Whenever we're looking at revenue. Longer term, we should be looking at increasing that. And whatever you're increasing it to, this is what we should be doing. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know inside the chat box. And then we have our longer, right? So if we turned around and we said, right, and we said, right, we have our 10 countries, that is rigid. We can work towards that. We have got our $10 profit because we've been working on our average portfolio. Then what we had was X number of products in our portfolio, right? We want to increase that. And then we had 10 sales per Y, right? So that might be 10 sales per 2 weeks. That could be 10 sales per week, right? Maybe at this very minute in time, that sounds a little bit, that sounds like a bit of an ask, but longer term. So now we can get paid in terms of profit, X thousand profit per Y. So if we had, right, we take this as a bit of an example here. If we turned around and we said that we were going to have 15 products and we're going to do here and here, right? You see where I inserted the X and the Y. So the X was the 15 products, right? Well, then X becomes 15. So 15 in there, and the Y was every 2 weeks. Okay? And remote fulfillment does count, right? Yep. That remote fulfillment does count because it's available for sale in that country. So if you're selling it in Italy, but you have it stocked in the United Kingdom, that still counts. Of course, longer term, we want to have stock closer. In terms of Europe, that would be in Germany. In terms of North America, you wouldn't be selling via the US into Canada. You'd be selling in Canada from Canada. Okay, guys, so this gives us a nice concept, right? Doesn't it? The power of 10 gives us a concept that we can kind of start to think about, right? It starts to give us some action plans, right? We need to get our countries going, right? If we don't have a product in a country, we are taking an opportunity cost, right? It's costing you money every single day that you're not there, right? That's a change to before because it used to cost you money to be there. I get that. But that's the past, right? We can set down all of the different things that we have about that. It's costing us money not to be there, okay? It's costing us money if we're not selling in Germany, okay? Then the other thing that we've got to work on is getting our average price point up, okay? Average price point up. Now, by default, when you're working at getting your average price point up, you will be adding a new product, okay? Because if your current average is $25, to get that up, you're going to have to add another product in, right? And of course, with the likes of All Inside, we've made that 10 times easier, right? You're not having to invest $10, $11, $12,000, okay? We need to get that price point up, okay? So therefore, then what we've got is we've got more products inside the portfolio by default, all right? Then what we need to work on collectively, right? Because those are on you. We cannot force you to go into a country. That's on you, all right? We cannot force you to add products into your catalog, right? Into your portfolio. That's on you, right? I wish I could, right? If I could find a way to do both of those two things, believe you me, I would do them tomorrow. Then we need to work together, get our sessions and our USP. That is something that we can work on together. So, guys, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really glad they have covered the little piece from last week. that we failed to get done because my internet, I didn't have the right internet. That's on me. That's on me. So it was great to be able to just finish that off from last week, as well as then move the conversation today, moving towards more the workshop of our urgency of actions at the end of the month. So thank you all for being here today. And remember, guys, it's always great to get a bit of feedback in terms of what you want us to cover. Right? That's always great. So make sure that you're asking the questions and you're asking us to maybe cover a certain topic about something, right? Because if you want it covered, it's likely that somebody else inside the group wants it covered as well. Or if you're speaking to each other, which we always encourage, as we talk about the splinter cells and we have a good laugh about that. If you're chatting inside those areas, and maybe you could take 5 or 10 minutes and have a little bit of a joint sort of mastermind, or you could come up with certain topics together, right? And chat it out and say, oh, I wish they'd cover something about this. Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. Then maybe take a little bit of a vote on it, feed back to us. Because as we always say, guys, you ask us to jump, we say hi, because we know that we're a certain type. We are definitely a certain type. And that is, of course, feeds us beautifully into the end of today. So I will end today with a little outro, as we always like to do, and I will see you guys next time.
Here we are, Mr. Thomas. Let's take that one there. Good job. I'll leave this one over here for you.
They say, oh.